words of our previous presenter, Franklin Leonard, he asked who we are and how we define ourselves and where we are, where we're going. And in the words of David Broder, a Pulitzer Prize winner of the Washington Post, he said, the First Amendment is not just about separation of church and state. He said the First Amendment is also about the separation of media and the state. For we are supposed to have a free press. And for so long, religion and media have been instruments of the government since the time of Pharaoh. And to this day, we have journalists who are being intimidated, imprisoned, and killed throughout the world. The Committee to Protect Journalists has informed us that for the third year in a row, 251 journalists have been jailed around the world. Reprisals against journalists for their work is the highest in 3 years. 1,338 journalists have been killed since 1992. And when it comes to Muslim majority countries, they say that they have to criminalize virtually any expression or association critical of the government and its understanding of Islam. And I would put understanding between quotes. For they are not understanding Islam, they are distorting Islam for their political means. And the Quran tells us, as a commandment to each and every Muslim, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu ittaqullaha wa qulu qawlan sadida. O you who have attained to faith, as a commandment to you and me, be conscious of God and speak solidly, forcefully to what is true and what is just. So excuse us, O kings and generals, sheikhs and mullahs, we have a higher authority to answer to. And we know that without freedom of expression, there is no Islam. There is just the exploitation of our faith for those in power. When the Quran says, let there be no compulsion in faith, or when it says, for whoever wants to believe, let them believe, and whoever doesn't want to believe, let them disbelieve. Therefore, the Quran is not the property of the government. The Quran is the property of the people. And we are not to have thought police in our midst. And I have to tell you, if there's one thing I despise very much, it is the thought police. Telling us how to think, intimidating us, threatening us if we don't think the way they do. It is that extremism from both the left and right that has undermined this whole idea of a free press. In other words, instead of a free press in our country today, we, and throughout the world, we are dealing with free propaganda for governments. So, when we honor Karen Attiah, the global opinion editor of the Washington Post, and we honor Mr. Jamal Khashoggi posthumously for their work, we are honoring the best of our faith, and we are speaking truth to power and developing the best model for a free press. It is that flicker of light that we need to bring direction and purpose and a goal that is worthy in that dark room. And in the words of the Washington Post, democracy dies in darkness.